Mayor Johnson was presented the Antonio Villaraigosa Leadership Award in 2013 in Las Vegas. Mayor, I wanted to mention that I spent New Year's Day visiting my father in Sacramento. Wow, the new basketball arena that's being constructed there, the economic development projects, it's putting life back into downtown Sacramento. Mayor Johnson is establishing a legacy like no other. Congratulations, Mayor, and please. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's an honor for me to be here. We have so many mayors in the room. I know that past presidents got acknowledged. Can all the mayors just stand up real quick? Because I'm representing the U.S. Conference of Mayors. So I want you to see all of them. Tom Cochran, stand up with the mayors. Awesome. Thanks. So I'm proud of Tom Cochran and all the mayors here today. We had a very great opportunity today. The Vice President came and addressed us and talked about how important it is to engage with the mayors in a real way. And President Obama said in his State of the Union that this country is strong. And we believe this country is strong because our cities are strong, because of the work that our mayors do in their respective communities. Mickey, you, Sacramento, what you've built with the Latino Network is amazing. I'm lucky that Mickey comes to Sacramento regularly because his father's there. He went to high school in Sacramento. He didn't go to Sac High because he lived in a little nicer neighborhood than I lived in. But it was still the same kind of neighborhood that I lived in. So let's give Mickey a round of applause for his leadership. I was very honored to receive this award a couple years ago, and to have it named after Antonio is incredible. And he was a past president for this organization, a great leader in California, not just in the city of LA, but in California. And over my lifetime, some of you know I used to play in the NBA, and Craig, I see Miss Stanton over there. I used to play in the NBA, and I got a few awards. But this one was kind of cool, so I moved the other ones to the side, and I put this one front and center. Let's give Antonio a round of applause for his leadership. And I don't know what you're doing next. We all just reading about what may or may not happen. But you know you got a whole lot of mayors that's going to stand with you no matter what you decide to do. And then last but not least, Mayor Jacksonville. We kind of got a chance to know each other a lot over the last couple years. We came together on education. He's doing some amazing work. He chairs our committee on ports and a number of other issues. He's a trustee for the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And Mickey, when I looked at who was getting this award today, I think this is a credit to him why there's so many mayors out here. Because he has this ability to build friends. He crosses the aisle, Democrats and Republicans. I just want to say congratulations to you, my friend. And I know you're in a somewhat contested race down in Jacksonville, so there's a lot of money in this room. So you're going to get us to write a couple checks. Thank you very much. God bless you.
The Antonio Villaraigosa Leadership Award was first presented to Mayor Villaraigosa in 2012 in Orlando as he closed his term as president of the United States Conference of Mayors. At that time, the Latino Leaders Network announced it would rename the award in his honor for presentation to recognize outstanding mayors who are dedicated to bringing diverse communities together. Mayor Villaraigosa clearly set the highest standard of excellence by which all future awardees will be measured. And we are thrilled to have him back with us once again. He arrived very late last night from Los Angeles, and will return tomorrow morning early to celebrate his birthday with his family. You might recall that last year when Mayor Villaraigosa joined us, it was his birthday. So he's a man that is dedicated to joining us to honor mayors deserving of the award. Please welcome the Honorable Antonio Villaraigosa to the podium for a tribute to Mayor Brown. Okay.
Let me, I grew up in a home that where I had to serve myself. So whenever I get a chance to say thank you to the people who are serving us, whether they're servers or bartenders, let's give them a big hand. Thank you for being here. I think you all know what a fan I am of Mickey Ibarra. And when I think about him, and you all have heard me say this from time to time, I can't think of anyone who oftentimes is behind the scenes, almost never asks for recognition, is always there for a helping hand, not just in the Latino community, but in communities all across this nation. And for me, I'm here in no small part to honor our honoree tonight, but I'm here to acknowledge a bridge builder, a man who's always extended the hand of friendship across culture and race, ethnicity and religion, or sexual orientation. Let's give a big hand to my friend, Mickey Ibarra. Now, I heard the cat calls a few minutes ago, and I just want you to know that there's press here in the back of the room. So I have an important announcement to make today. The dessert will be served in just a moment. I like having fun with you guys, when I think about this award and why we give it, bringing leaders together, leaders who understand that our diversity is our strength. I think about my own journey and the journey of so many of you. I've often said that I'm here today because there was a Civil Rights Act. I'm here today because there was a Voting Rights Act that opened up the country for me. And so many of us here are here today. Often the first from your community to lead a diverse community. We're here because we live in a great, generous country that has gotten better throughout the decades and the centuries. We've understood that we are stronger when we acknowledge that diversity. We are stronger when women, men of all colors and creeds, race and ethnicities can come together, can be acknowledged for their talent, for the content of their character. And that's really what this honor is all about. It's an opportunity to acknowledge those trailblazers. I've often said that I'm here on the shoulders of others, as so many of you are. And I know that when our honoree, Alvin Brown, gets up, he'll say something to that extent. And we honor you all, mayors, because when I think about governmental leaders who are the closest to people, it's no question, it's mayors. And when I think about the people who understand how important it is for us to bring the best and the brightest, no matter where they come from, to acknowledge their talents, to unite them, we think about mayors. And I certainly think about mayors. And tonight we have an opportunity to acknowledge one of our own. When I first met Alvin Brown, he was this big guy, full of energy, had just gotten elected, you know, really excited about the prospect of leading his city. I don't have to tell you that he's the first African American to be elected as mayor of Jacksonville, the first Democrat in a very long time. And you know, when I talked to Alvin about how he got there, he said, you know, I just reached out. I talked to everyone. I acknowledged that this is a city that's gone through much, but a city that has a bright future if we come together. He went to Republicans and Democrats alike. He went to black and brown and white. He stood for the notion that we're better when we acknowledge the strength that we are one city. And he got elected. And then he came to this organization, and like so many of us, just immediately rolled up his sleeves and got involved. He understands as much as anyone that the issue of equality of opportunity and income, the issue of income inequality are so important. He understands that jobs, economic development, the trade and commerce are critical to that. So today, we have an opportunity to acknowledge one among us who has really exemplified what bringing people together means. It means bringing all the people, no matter where they come from. It means an economy that works for all of us. Now, he's in a tough campaign, and this is obviously a non-partisan organization. But it's important that we acknowledge him today because as he goes into that campaign, we want everyone to know that the people here who have worked with him for 4 years, like the people in his own city who have worked with him over the last 4 years, acknowledge the kind of leader that he is. Somebody who brings people together, someone who understands that he's here on the shoulders of others. So please help me in welcoming my friend, the mayor of Jacksonville, Florida, Alvin Brown.
We'll just step aside right there and get forward.
Well, good evening, everyone. I want to thank Mickey for his vision on really launching this network, Latino network, that brings so many diverse leaders together. Let's give him a round of applause for his leadership. And, you know, when I think about my good friend, Mayor Villaraigosa, it's an honor to receive an award named for such a powerful leader whose constant commitment sets an example for all of us to follow. Someone who believes an opportunity for all, someone who believes empowering people and really getting behind them so they can deliver what they promise back at home. And for that, my friend, I want to thank you. Let's give him a round of applause for his leadership. I want to acknowledge Tom Cochran, who I've known for so many years, served with his son during the Clinton administration, and I know that part of leadership is empowering and giving mayors an opportunity. So I want to thank Tom Cochran. Let's give him a round of applause for being here tonight. I know not to be long, so I accept this on behalf of the many people in Jacksonville who are indispensable partners with me in the effort to build a strong, successful, diverse community. From day one as mayor, I've made it a priority to build the connections with Jacksonville's growing Hispanic Latino communities. I've brought on the best and the brightest from the Hispanic and Latino communities, and I really wish that some of them were here tonight. Betsy Santiago, who was the president of the Hispanic Chamber, now serves in the mayor's office. Paul Martinez, who's an entrepreneur, now runs a $400 million corporation for the mayor. You can't get a contract without Paul Martinez. Mario Rubio, who handles my state affairs to make sure that Jacksonville is in the game when it comes to investing in cities. And Tony Lopez, who runs my park and recreation to make sure that we not only have the largest urban park system in America, but the best. And so I am truly humbled to be able to assemble the best team that you can think of. And they're the first in the history of the city of Jacksonville to serve in the mayor's cabinet. We've also created what are now annual community events, including Hispanic Heritage Month, our citywide Hispanic Expo, and our new Hispanic Community Leadership Awards in our community. Why? I'm honoring the first in every category in my city, which is very important. We have a vibrant, strong city, but we're stronger together than we are apart. The other thing I want to point out is that if you think about your cities, as I think about Jacksonville, and we're growing tremendously, but some of the members have been in Jacksonville for decades. Others are new arrivals. Many in Jacksonville are there because of their service in the military. And we have a strong presence in Jacksonville. We have 3 bases. But the most important thing I want to point out about our community, the Hispanic community, they raise their families there, they contribute to the community, they pursue their careers, and they've opened and run businesses. They are the best. In fact, I don't want to brag too much on my city, but I got to bring out this fact. And Jacksonville was recently ranked the 6th best city in the United States of America for Hispanic entrepreneurs. The 6th, ranked number 6. 5 of our ports, top trade partners, are in Latin America, and Jacksonville continue to be the #1 U.S. port serving Puerto Rico. That's right. So it's not only about culture vitality, but it's about economic empowerment. And so they create jobs in the city and invest in the city and make it stronger. And if I made sure that I include them in everything that I'm doing, we've recruited over 600 mentors. Many of them are Latino Hispanics in the school system, mentoring young people, making sure that they have an opportunity to live the American dream like me. So I see them like my brothers and sisters, just like me. I'm the first in my family to go to college. I put myself through school. I started at a small company named Winn-Dixie, stocking groceries at night, going to school in the daytime, working 40, 50 hours a week. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother, who raised 5 kids, worked 2 jobs, never went to college, but they instilled in me, that's right, they instilled in me a sense of faith and hard work, that you can achieve and live the American dream if you work hard and play by the rules. And I have many in my community who work hard and play by the rules. And so as mayor, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that that community is empowered and have the same opportunity that I have. Because one day maybe Paul Martinez may be the first Hispanic mayor in Jacksonville, Florida. Why not? And so for me, I'm truly humbled and honored to receive this award. Mayor, in your name, you've led the city and the state with distinction. You were the former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. You've done a phenomenal job leading and being a public servant, a servant leader for your state and for our country. And I am very humbled and honored to receive this award in your name, because your name means something. To me, it means that you were the best public servant leader. And you did a phenomenal job leading this organization called the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and you gave me an opportunity to lead, to become chairman of the Port Task Force for the U.S. Conference of Mayors because you believed in me. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate, Mickey, your organization giving me this award. Thank you, and God bless you, and have a wonderful evening.
Nice job, Mayor. Nice job. Love you. Tonight, we break new ground at our tribute to mayors by honoring our very first elected leader who is not a mayor, but rather a county executive. Like a mayor, he is the chief executive officer of Prince George's County with a population of over 860,000 residents, a budget nearing $3 billion annually. Executive Rushern Baker is no stranger to the Latino Leaders Network. I mentioned his previous events that he's attended. He appointed the first Latino liaison for the county, established the non-emergency call center that is staffed with Spanish-speaking staff throughout the entire hours of operation. He also launched the Transforming Neighborhoods Initiative to uplift 6 targeted county communities, including Langley Park and Riverdale, where most of the Latino population is concentrated. I mentioned 150,000 residents of Prince George's County. 129,000 of them are Latino. And I'm delighted to report that Executive Baker fully supported the successful candidacy of Denora Hernandez. Again, his first Latino liaison, and now one of the 2 first Latina members of the school board. For all of these reasons and more, on behalf of the Latino Leaders Network, I am proud to present the inaugural Chairman's Award to County Executive Rushern Baker. Mayor, would you please come up here? Come up here, Rushern. We'll put you right in the middle.
All right.
Is that good? Let's get his photo.
Mickey, I want to thank you. This is truly humbling to receive this honor. There are a couple of people I'd like to thank, or recognize. You did that earlier, but I want to recognize them again. One is Delegate Jocelyn Pena Melnick. If she could stand up and give her a round of applause. Not only for being the first Latina from Prince George's County to serve in the General Assembly, but when I started my campaign for county executive, she and her family walked door to door with me to make sure I could get elected. They stuck with me in each one of those 3 elections, and I want to give her a special recognition. I'm going to talk about her later on, too. And certainly our first Latino senator, great friend of mine, running partner, and neighbor, Victor Ramirez, if he could stand up. I am so pleased to I brought a cheering section here. I brought my son, who just got on the Central Committee, who's in the back, Rushern Baker IV. And there are 2 other folks I'm going to talk about later on. But I just want to say, as I recognize, my son, how I got to know Mickey and the Latino Network. I've got a leadership network. I've got to be honest. So I am like a huge fan of Mayor Villaraigosa. And I have been trying to get a picture with Mayor Villaraigosa. So I walk into Victor's office and he's got a picture with Mayor Villaraigosa. I said, "Where the hell did you get that?" And he said, "I was at an event." I said, "Well, get me there." And he actually brought me to an event that Mickey was doing, and I got to meet the mayor and take a picture. The reason that's special is not just because I have a crush on the mayor and he's great. Is because when I ran for county executive the first time, I lost. Jocelyn remembers that. And so my son and I were actually in his room, and we were flipping through the paper. I watched news around the country. And the race for Los Angeles mayor was starting up again. And there was a story in the Washington Post about this dynamic gentleman that was running for mayor of Los Angeles for the second time. And in that race, the second time, he was bringing together the African American community, the Latino community, the white community, the Asian community. And everybody was excited about it. And so it inspired me at a time when I didn't know whether I was going to run again, but I wanted to serve, and I've read his story. And it inspired me to say, you know what? This is what I want to do. And so we followed that race, and when you won, I had a friend that was in Los Angeles, and when you won, I had him send me, your speech, your inaugural speech. Believe it or not, I actually listened to it. It was phenomenal. But it made me look at how you conducted yourself as mayor and how you ran that city. So as a county executive of nearly 1 million people, 500 square miles, rich diversity, that's the example that I use. The mayor of Los Angeles, who's Latino, as an example for me how to run our county. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the work you do here in Augusta. I also will be very brief because I ran into Mayor Rawlings Blake, and she said I'm a interloper in this organization. But I am so glad that you included us because the work of the cities and urban counties is important. We actually work together, whether it's the District of Columbia, whether it's Baltimore City, whether it's Prince George's County. Really the growing base is our urban centers, and they're in the counties too, so this is important. So I'm looking forward to the work that Mickey and I are going to do together to help improve and expand the opportunities in Prince George's County. We're just beginning. I'll close by recognizing, two other people. I have Daisy Avalar, who's in the back. Is Daisy still here? Can Daisy stand up? Daisy's in our Community Relations Office. That outreach is in the community at large of Prince George's County, and not only is she a fabulous person there and does a great job, and we're so happy to have her, but I actually had the privilege of watching her grow up in my community, actually friends with my daughters. So that is just special to us. And certainly Denora Hernandez, who's one of two we elected this year on our school board for the first time. With the fastest growing population in our school system, our Latinos, we've got the first time 2 Latinas on the school board. So I'd like for her to stand up again. And this is just the beginning. As we do nearly $5 billion worth of construction work in Prince George's County, we're going to make sure that that work is done by Latino firms, African American firms, Asian firms, all firms. But we're going to make sure especially that we look at the Latino firms in the Prince George's County, because we want to make sure our rich diversity is acknowledged. And the way to do that is by paying attention to what's going on in the county and what's going on around us. I close with this. As progressives, as I consider myself, we think, okay, you get into office, you're going to do the right thing because you're a progressive person. You want to make sure that everybody shares in the richness that is Prince George's County. We're one of the wealthiest communities in the nation, in the wealthiest state in the nation. But you get in there and you're working so hard that sometimes you forget that you've got to take a moment to make sure that every single department filters down and understands it. And there are times when you actually forget that. And you need your friends to remind you that it's not just the rhetoric. It is not just the words, it's the action. During the first years I was in office, if you looked at our cabinet and the people we appointed, it did not reflect the diversity of Prince George's County. 2 of my good friends hammered me to have a Latino liaison. I relented. At first I said no. I said, you know, this is me. I'm going to make sure we get the best and the brightest. What they were trying to tell me was that you can't do it yourself. You're running a $5 billion corporation. It's got to filter down to make sure. Delegate Pena Melnick and Victor Ramirez got on me and said, listen, you got to do better. That is when we appointed a Latino liaison. That is when we put together a New Americans Task Force to not only make sure we can run Latinas and Latinos for office, but that every fabric of our government, everything we do is not just an appointment for the Baker administration, but will last throughout. That is what we have to do if we want to make sure that the rich diversity that we all talk about is concrete, and so that you see some of the economic gains, so that you see that, you know, folks are in great positions and can run, so that maybe Denora or Daisy are the first Latina county executives of a major county. We would like to see that. So with that, I accept the award. Thank you very much, Mickey.
Thanks again to our Tribute to Mayor's Dinner sponsors who made this all possible, to all of you for taking the time to join us. We look forward to greeting you next at the U.S. Conference of Mayors Summer Meeting in San Francisco on Sunday, June 21st. Now, thank you and good night.